Hi friends, we are going to read the 9th reading from Fortunately the Milk by Neil Gaiman. And he just outsmarted the aliens. He grabbed the milk from the other time period and threatened to touch them to each other, and then the whole universe would stop existing. So that's how he got them to let him go. The Wumpires, pirates, piranhas, volcano god, and worshippers of the volcano god were gone. What if, suggested one of the green globby aliens hopefully, we only redecorated the southern hemisphere? Not a chance, I said. Now release us, or the milk touches itself, and then go away. Leave this planet forever. The aliens looked at me. Then they looked at each other, and then they sighed, with a noise like 100 elephantine snot balloons all deflating at once. Right, they said. It was at that moment that a voice louder than anything I have ever heard, and I had heard a volcano erupt at a very close range, said, "Galactic Police, do not move." My hands shook, but the milk did not touch the milk, and the universe did not end. There were red and blue flashing lights, and then stepping off their space bikes were about half a dozen uniformed dinosaurs, holding unmistakably large and extremely serious weapons. They pointed their weapons at the green globby aliens. "You are charged with breaking into people's planets and redecorating them," said a noble and imposing-looking Tyrannosaurus Rex. "And then with running away and doing it again somewhere else, over and over. You have committed crimes against the inhabitants of 18 planets and crimes against good taste." "What we did to Rigel 4 was art," argued a globby alien. "Art? There are people on Rigel 4, said an Ankylosaurus, "who have to look up every night at a moon with 3 huge plaster ducks flying across it." Something very long, with a head on the end of it, came over to us. It was attached to a very large body on the other side of the room. "Who are you?" it asked Professor Steg, "and why is your gorilla holding a transtemporally dislocated milk container?" "I am not a gorilla," I said. "I am a human father. The human is holding the milk in order to make these evil, redecorating snot bubbles go away and stop menacing this planet and us," said Professor Steg. The Diplodocus in a police cap opened its mouth and didn't say anything. The Tyrannosaurus, who had handcuffed all of the green globby people together with something that looked a lot more like pink string in a can than it looked like handcuffs, which was a good thing because they probably didn't have hands and they definitely didn't have wrists, stared at us, and his eyes opened wide. "Great day in the morning," he exclaimed. "A biped, a stegosaurus, a floaty ball person carrier." And he stopped as if unable to go on. A pteranodon flapped over to us, then landed at Professor Steg's feet. It looked up at him and said hesitantly, could you be, the inventor of Professor Steg's pointy zooming into outer space machine? Of Professor Steg's really good moves around in time machine? Would you be the author of my travels into the extremely far future and what I found there? Professor Steg, wisest of all dinosaur kind? Madam, is it truly you? It is, said the professor. Madam? I thought, embarrassed. And this is my assistant. The pteranodon extended a wing tip for me to shake, and without thinking I moved the second milk from my right hand to my left, where the first milk was. Everybody gasped. Unfortunately, the milk that had been in my right hand, which was the same as the milk that was already in my left hand, the same milk 15 minutes apart, touched each other. I held my breath. There was a fizzing noise and a mewing as if 100 kittens were being agitated in an enormous basket. Professor Stegg closed her eyes. "I can't look," she said. 3 purple dwarfs with flower pots on their heads appeared from nowhere and began to do a little dance. "Did the universe end?" said the Tyrannosaurus with his eyes tightly scrunched closed. "Look," I said. We all watched the dwarfs dance. They weren't human, and they weren't dinosaurs. They had purple skin, and the flower pots on their heads had lots of flowers growing out of them. They did a complicated sort of a dance, with lots of legs kicking and shouts of "Oi!" and "Ole!" and "Pertong!" And then, as strangely as they had come, they vanished. "Ah," said Professor Stegg, "it was always a possibility that this might happen, and fortunately the universe has not ended." She pressed the button again with her tail. A small hole in space and time opened up. I was standing on the other side with a baffled expression on my face. "Catch!" I shouted, and threw the milk through the hole. As the portal closed, I saw me catch the milk using my stomach. The green globby aliens having been rounded up and taken away, all the space dinosaurs gathered around. "I can't believe it," said the Diplodocus. "Professor Stegg, just like in the comics, the dinosaur who taught us that in the far future, small mammals will eat their breakfast cereal with milk on it. Inventor of the button. She's here in front of us with her gorilla." That is where we'll stop reading number 9. And thank you for listening, friends.